Hi, JJ. Okay, so I'll just provide a brief update on how things are going on the UI side. So basically, we are done with the ETL endpoints that we are to create. So right now we are trying to build services and views for the data entry, statistics, and also the HIV summary indicators. Also, we've been fixing some bugs also, and yeah. So yeah, let's see where we are on Monday.
How are we doing with the sprint?
The sprint is it's going okay.
Are we halfway? 70%?
Yeah,
We have 50%, yeah.
Do you have any questions, JJ?
Oh yeah, no, I wanted to, sorry, I couldn't hear the last part. I mean, I guess, Nikki, do you think that we're on task right now? Are we behind? Part of it is going to be prioritizing, the most important things. Ideally, we get everything done, but sometimes tough decisions have to be made.
okay, yeah, that's what you're trying to do. I guess you'll be off by a few points, but the most important items will be done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I noticed on production that there is like a version of a new build on there. Is that right?
Yeah, it is right. Yeah.
Okay.
We did a new version because I think you requested for what was that feature again?
Triage.
Yeah, the triage form and the BMI specifically, and then there was another form, right?
No, that's triage.
And the date picker, right?
No, just triage.
There was another feature. We put two things there. I remember.
Mine was BMI and adding in some few questions that JJ had worked on. That is what we added.
Okay.
Also, remember the RTC was not displaying correctly, so also that went in.
We put that in, yeah? Yeah, that's the one I was referring to, yeah.
Okay. It's just I don't know a good way of doing this, but the release date and the commit build on the production server, is that the same meaning as on the test server? So for example, on the production now there's a build from 25th October.
Right.
And I think the only change was that one form, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But but it seems like there's now a little bit of discrepancy between the servers. Just so I understand that how the builds are working. So for example, on the production version build, daily visits and daily appointments are still separated, but on the test version of the same date, they were together.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so are you... Yeah, okay, let me just explain that. I think we missed some of the steps, and that's what I warned about when we were actually creating this build and uploading it on production. It's because we actually didn't follow the usual workflow, and we deployed in the middle, and that's why the thing didn't go to the test server. So the thing that is on test server right now is not in synchro. It's not synchronized with the one that is running on production.
Okay.
So they're different, yeah.
Okay. I mean, I see the reasons why we did it, but let's just be careful. I'm actually less worried about the fact that we have kind of two forks right now, but more just making sure that if we are pushing things to production, that we're doing a lot of tests. And I don't know if we have a kind of SOP for doing that. I know ideally everything is working, but I think that at the least we just have to be very careful that the data collection tools are actually saving data to the database.
Yeah, so actually we do have the SOP, it's just that it's not documented yet. So basically when we are going through these changes, and it seemed like, okay, we need to do some minor bug fixes.
Yeah.
And have some of those features in production. We kind of went through the discussion, and basically I just tried to explain the way Bark suggested we should be doing stuff since we started the project. So basically we're not going to have only 2 forks. Basically we have as many, not forks, basically you mean branches, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so we are not going to have only 2 branches. We are going to have several branches whenever we do a release. So for example, ideally what we should be doing is, when you'll notice that when I'm talking it's a little bit different because I was numbing my my tooth, so bear with me. Yeah, so basically when you do a release, for example, that time when you're doing 0.30,
yeah,
what we have adapted is you'll create a branch, what we call the maintenance branch, which we'll call 0.3.x. And then if we have to fix bugs real quick, we fix bug on the master branch, and then we backport those bugs to this 0.3x branch, and then we release. That's why that version is 0.33. So if you're going to fix another bug on master and we want it to be released immediately, we're going to backport it to 0.3x and then we release 0.34. Ideally, any bug fixes that we make a release for, we are adding one maintenance, I said +1 maintenance version. So if it was 0.30,
okay. So are you only merging code from master that's specific to the bug fix that's done?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically that's what we did.
Okay, that sounds perfect to me. Does
Does
everybody know how to do that, or is it just you or Eric doing it? Or?
I tried to explain to, actually we did that. I explained the process to everybody so that everybody is aware, the release process and what you're supposed to be doing and the kind of things you're supposed to do in order to make to ensure that things are happening smoothly. And I also went through the process of doing that, actually, getting the bug fixes, putting them on the branch, and then releasing. So it's fine. I mean, I'm sure people, they'll have to get the hang of it after some time, but we went through that process. So ideally, when we get to 0.40, we're going to create a 0.4x branch. And then after that, we're going to have bug fixes backported to that branch. We'll have 0.41. Ideally, when we deploy, you're going to have a lot of these things because you can't just release a feature. That's why we need something like that.
Yeah, no, this sounds perfect to me. Just as long as over the next few weeks, if we can, I'm sure we'll have other opportunities to fix bugs on the current release, and it would be good just to make sure that everybody knows how to do it.
Yeah, and just before I forget, Nick, I thought you created the page, right?
Yeah, not yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Nick here is going to create the page for us, I hope.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, great. And then if we can just have a special addendum to whatever SOP release we do, that we have to test anytime we are doing bug fixes to data collection tools. They have to be tested on production, on test patients. Okay.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
It's the only one that has a very special case because the rest of them don't. The rest of them don't cause problems that can't be reversed. But if data isn't going in, then we'll never get it back.
All right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. How involved is the dev team right now with working with Bonnie on the implementation side? Is he providing updates to you guys, or are you asking for them, or?
Yeah, there's the page that Bonnie is sharing with you. He has been sharing with us, and the other thing, I think either last week on Friday or this week, I went to the clinic just to see what was happening.
Okay.
Yeah, so most of the issues that have been raised, I think, so far they have already been addressed. Uh, One of them was the BMI issue, and that is why we had to do that particular release.
Okay.
The other issue is on the ordering of the form, which you have already done, so that will only be available in the next release.
Okay.
And the other problem was also on the WHO staging, but I think we have not prioritized doing that. So that will have to wait, or you will maybe provide some guidance on the same. So
Yeah,
I think,
no, I'll work on that, but we'll address it in the next release. The bigger issues, though, I'm less concerned at this point about POC. I'm more concerned about helping the team troubleshoot some of the issues that are coming up related to AMRS, and just trying to be involved in like clarifying these things. I realize the network is one problem, and we are not well positioned to be dealing with that, but it's not clear to me necessarily what the problems are, and I don't know if it would be nice for the systems team to be able to count on you guys to provide, not advice, but just help them think through these things. These are more challenging problems than they're probably used to thinking about. I find that with the systems team, they're really good at, once they know how to solve something, they're very good at solving it, if it happens again. But where they sometimes struggle a bit is when they're confronted with problems that they've not seen before. They don't necessarily know how to think through them clearly. And I think that if we can provide some assistance, we need to feel a bit of ownership, such that if we learn that on yesterday in the afternoon, AMRS basically went down from the little that I understand, we have to feel like we own that as well, and we want to try and make sure that it goes back up. Okay.
Yeah, I think, as you said, those are the two main challenges. Network is one of them, and then the second one is, I think, MRS going down because of one reason or the other.
Yeah.
But I think when we are informed in time, we can always step in.
Yeah, I mean, I want you to try and be proactive about it and to be monitoring. It'll be a little bit easier once we have the data entry statistics dashboard. It'll be easier for us to have a tool to monitor what's going on, just as a quick, is everything okay? But if we notice that things are not working well, then we have to step in ourselves. Bonnie is really trying his best, and he's doing a million things at the same time. But he's not a technical person, and it'll be important for him to report problems, but not try and diagnose them. And I'm just bringing this up especially because I feel like often when we're reporting the problem, people love to say that it's the network. This very ambiguous declaration, and we need to make sure that we're being more specific, because oftentimes it just seems like it's the network, but really it's something else. Okay?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it sounds like things have been going okay. When AMRS and the network is up, the POC part is okay. It'd be nice to try and arrange a feedback session with the clinicians before we do the next sprint, before we do the next planning meeting, just so that you guys are familiar. Do you think you can work with Bonnie to maybe just sit down with all the clinicians and nurses for 30 minutes or an hour and just get feedback from them? If you think that's necessary. If you've already done that, then you don't need to force it. But just it's nice not just to do it. The nice thing about doing it formally is that you publicly recognize their input in the process. I know that if you're just in the offices and asking them, do you like this, do you like that, it probably achieves our end. of getting the information that we need, but there's something to be said for, very publicly collaborating with people. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. You want to do a quick update on Elastic?
Yeah, so I'll do. I know Willa will also update you as well. So I think so far we did manage to do whatever we wanted to do, and that is being able to create some simple mappings that we can be able to use. And I managed to use Logstash to pull some data on my machine and write some few queries. I think the challenge right now is I was looking at the wiki. I expected that most of the indicators would have been mapped how we generate those particular indicators. But I've just noticed it's like only 2 or 3 have been mapped, and those ones are the ones I've been able to work on. So the others, there is no mapping, so I don't know how to generate some of the, I don't know what concepts to use for some of those other indicators. So if you look at the wiki that Bonnie created, there are only 2 or 3 that like the one that is there is CTX on pregnant and starting on ARVs. So those are the only ones that have been mapped. The other ones, they have not. So we don't have a good idea about how to get that. And then
are you putting a code into a GitHub repo? I haven't checked in a while, so.
The code that I'm doing is not going on GitHub so far.
All right, why don't we just create a repository, like, for Elastic stuff, because it'll be much easier for me to start seeing what you're doing and see how I can give feedback. I'm kind of curious how you've started to do a few of the indicators, and then once I see that, I can start thinking a little bit more clearly about how to get you the information to build the other ones. Okay?
Yeah, I will do that, so and then share the link.
Okay.
Yeah.
Willa, any updates?
Yeah, basically it is. We've been working on with Eric on some of those indicators, but the other part I've been trying to work on is we're trying to install the Elasticsearch on the ETL server.
Okay.
I'm trying to pull data from reporting to Elasticsearch, but it has been a little bit challenging, but we'll manage. So I don't think it's well. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to manage it in some way. I'm thinking of a way to make it work, because right now it seems like when we try to run Logstash, for some reason we are getting some weight error that is about Java. I'm not sure if it is about Java or Java 7 or Java 8, but it's challenging, and I have spent quite some time to try to make that work, but it hasn't been successful. So I use some other way, but that also is challenging because it's not easy to pull all that information together. So I'm gonna create a workaround to do kind of scheduling to pull those things in.
Okay.
Instead. Yeah.
So instead of being too worried about pulling all of the data, why don't we just choose like either 1 or 2 clinics? Do it by location ID. The reason why I'm suggesting location is because the longitudinal data, so that means data going back in time, is actually relevant for producing reports. So it's better, if we were going to just take a subset, it's better for us to go deep than it is to go wide. Okay? Wide meaning getting all the data for all of the clinics, let's just say from the past year. It's better to get all of the data for one clinic from the beginning. Okay?
Yeah, the reason is because the reason we're trying to get all the data in the Elasticsearch is because although the reports are location-based, but the amount of information in the system will determine how the system is going to perform when you're creating those reports. So in this case, I mean, I remember when we had this discussion, the only concern is not getting the stuff right, it's also about performance. So we need to see how is it going to be performing. just having data for one location is not going to tell us how is it going to be performing if you have all of the data in Elasticsearch. So that's important also. So
I see what you're saying, but on the other hand, one, Elastic is designed for large data sets and is intended to be distributed across servers if necessary. So for me, we do need to test these things out, but from a proof of concept, I'm less concerned about Elastic being able to handle our searches quickly. Right now I'm more interested in us trying to come up with a way of representing the information in Elastic and then methods for querying it just to see if we can get the data out that we want.
Go ahead.
So I see. It's not that I see your point, but it seems like it might be better first to just get the first part fixed, and then we can start figuring out how we need to set up the environment to make it fast.
Yeah, basically that's exactly what we're doing. So it's not like we are dedicating all the efforts and fixing that indicator server. We're actually working on the indicators. Eric has the local instance running and is trying to get the stories to get the data right and other testing.
I see.
So basically it's just that some of the effort, I'm just trying to do some of the effort towards that direction because it's also part of the work that is supposed to be done.
Okay, that sounds fine. Eric, I mean, especially for you, if you're the one that's spending a little bit more time focusing on queries, let's try and get at least one data set for one clinic.
Yeah, and that is good. And I think the other challenge we were facing, and I was telling Will about this, is the test data it doesn't really give you. So we wanted
it's not good data.
Yeah, we wanted a way like when we generate like a given indicator, we could compare that with ETL just to see how close we are getting.
I think that's good. Just be very careful. Elastic is not necessarily configured. It's configured fairly publicly. So at the least, make sure that the instance that you're creating is not accessible outside of the LAN. Okay.
Yeah. I think so. It's running on my local machine. I'm not very sure if it can be accessible anyway. Maybe I'll need to confirm.
Okay. In general though, Eric, we haven't had a lot of discussion of this. It's much more preferable to leave patient data off of our local machines, because if you lose it, it's not good. I mean, I know it's the likelihood of somebody being able to get into your machine, like not knowing the password, is somewhat remote. I mean, on the other hand, I think if you just pulled the I don't know. I don't know enough about security, but it would really be better to be loading this data on a server at AMPATH rather than if you're going to use patient data. Okay.
Yeah.
You can create an encrypted drive, even though now it's not having the patient data. That's what you're trying to.
You know what you can do actually though is there's a script, I don't know if you guys have seen it, for de-identifying data. It doesn't take that long to run because you don't really need to run it on like the OBS table for the most part. You just need to run it on the patient, the tables that have patient information in them. So have you seen the script?
Yeah, and I think whatever we are pulling does not have any identifying information.
Other than the patient ID.
Other than the patient ID, it doesn't have any other identifying information.
Okay. You're just pulling OBS and Okay, that's fine.
And it's going to ETL anyway, so it's not really a cause of any concern. And I just realized that according to query the ETL from my local machine, I'm not sure if that is the default configuration of Elasticsearch or it is something that has to do with the network problem.
Okay.
So if that is the case, then we don't even have any problem to worry about, because it means I have to create some kind of box which most likely will be the only one knowing the port and the IP address.
I mean, there was a nice tutorial that I did about how to set this up using Nginx.
Yeah, I did that on ETL. Remember when we were creating the Hub 0? So Nginx is fairly easy to configure.
Yeah, to do port forward, reverse proxying. Okay, because that I think I did a tutorial on Kibana that walked me through it, and it's good to put an Nginx server on there and then have it forward request to the Elastic.
It's already there, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I put it there.
Good. What's the server that you're using to test this? Is it you're using reporting?
ETL.
ETL.AMPATH, or it's very confusing because there's an ETL1, there's ETL. Which one are we using?
ETL.
What's it?
ETL.
Okay. I don't actually even know which server that is. Do you know if anybody else is using it and what the specs are for it?
I don't remember the specs, but that was created for Hub 0, so nobody's using it. Or at least nobody's supposed to be using it.
Okay. Just see if you can find out, because it would be frustrating to realize that our queries are slow because the computer has 1 gig of RAM and a 1995 Pentium processor, which some of our servers do.
Yeah, I'll do that, but I think it has pretty good configurations, because when we were requesting for this instance to be created, we wanted a pretty good server. So.
Okay, I'm just trying to be safe. Are you enjoying the Elastic stuff so far, or not really?
Yeah, it's good, but we know there are challenges we'll be dealing with in a short while.
Okay.
Yeah.
JJ, do you realize that it is very difficult to say you're not enjoying?
I guess what I'm really asking is, do you think it has promise or not really? And you're just like, that's what I'm interested. It's early right now, so I'm not worried about answering it.
But it's really cool.
Okay, I gotta go anyway. I gotta drive to Indy, to the hospital. This sounds good to me. The main thing that I'll emphasize once again is please reach out to Bonnie and to Miencha, and just even if they tell you everything's okay, let's make sure that we believe it, so that we have some way of knowing. It really concerns me when Bonnie tells us that they're doing retrospective data entry. That's not the purpose of POC. So if we can't support real-time data entry, then we have big problems here. Okay?
All right. Yeah, okay.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Talk to you later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, good morning.